Hi, good night, everyone. Ayanna here, the Conflict Guru 868. And tonight we have our fifth installment of the Woman in Business feature series. And tonight we'll be featuring Miss Giselle Landu Birmingham, an attorney at law. Now, Giselle is how can I put it? Like she's just amazing. My favorite word for the night. Well versed in law. She's a very affable person, very friendly. She has practiced for maybe over 10 years or so, so has been called to the bar, and she specializes in commercial and family law. And I thought Giselle would be a wonderful addition to the show. She was another one who was one of the first persons to actually opt to be featured. And I'm very grateful to her for that. So let me bring Giselle in, and she's going to talk a bit more about herself and explain, her specialty. So, Giselle, good night.
Hi, good night, Ayanna. Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
Thank you for being on the show, and I am fine. I am good. So, how are we feeling tonight?
Good. We'll see how it
Good.
goes.
It's going to be great. Deep breath, big laughs. Don't worry. That's always a conflict girl woman in business show is about. So, you're attorney at law. You've been called to the bar for over 8 years or so. Would you mind telling us what your areas of specialty are? And
Sure.
we can start with that, and then we can go into some other questions. And I'm going to ask
Sure.
questions.
No problem. So I've been called to the bar since 2009, so it's over 10 years now.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
when I first came into the profession, I worked at the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions as a legal officer. So at
Mm-hmm.
that office, I prosecuted criminal matters. Thereafter, I
Wow.
went across to the Legal Aid and Advisory Authority, and there I focused mainly on criminal defense. Since
Okay.
then, I've done a Master of Business Administration in Sustainable Energy Management at the Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business, and I
Mm.
became a corporate secretary for a statutory authority since then. Well, you would know, and which is part of why I'm here. I decided that I'm going into private practice, and this year is actually 2 years that I started my own practice. So it's
Yay!
one of the best decisions that I've made, Ayana.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations, honey, congratulations.
And
Now, you
since,
spoke a lot about the criminal background, but I know from our experience, I mean, because again, guys, Giselle and I were neighbors when I had my office. Yeah, she's my neighbor. When I had my office, before COVID, so we were neighbors and getting to know Giselle a bit. Like I said, a very warm person. Um, I know you did other stuff besides criminal law. So you want to talk a bit about those other areas as well?
yeah, that's fine. I do a lot of commercial. So
Mm-hmm.
I have a business clientele. For
Mm-hmm.
that, I usually do business contracts.
Okay.
Besides that, I do conveyancing, probate, family, a little bit of civil, but I'll
Mm-hmm.
always say that criminal law is my love.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, saying that criminal law is a love, and then I'm hearing about the MBA at Arthur Lovejock, and then the different areas working with government, so to say, state agencies and stuff like that. How was your experience being as a lawyer, especially as a female and dealing with criminal law? How has it been thus far?
Ayana, honestly, it's been a wonderful experience. It's been,
Mm-hmm.
I think, one of the things that was important to me and has always been important to me is to find what you're passionate about and to find what your
Yeah.
purpose is and what aligns with your purpose. So,
Mm-hmm.
law aligns with my personality because I usually want to represent persons who don't have a voice for themselves. And
Okay.
I am extremely opinionated and confident. You would know that. So, for me, it has been a wonderful experience. I've met a lot of persons who they've made my journey as a professional quite a beautiful experience, and it's
Mm-hmm.
something that I am very grateful for. But I think one
Wow.
of the things that we were discussing is that even though as women we may have had particular experiences, I know that for many women they may not have had the same experiences in whatever field that they choose to become involved in. And I think one of the things I wanted to point out, especially for women who don't feel that they have the backing or the support in terms of coming into business, in terms of they've never seen it done or they don't have role models necessarily. I think one of the things for them, we need to look at mentorship. So I think
Mm.
that's one of the big things that coming out of the discussion that we had. That's one of the things I want to focus on as well.
Okay, so let's focus on it. So when you say that you find these things that they need is mentorship and stuff like that, which I totally agree with you. I think that is why I got into coaching because initially I was a mentor, a business mentor for small business association, and I did some mentoring slash coaching for UE postgrads and postgrad students and stuff like that. Um, there are women out there who want to venture into business, would like to get into it, but somehow there are so many things keeping them back. Family, responsibility, self, the doubts, not having or not thinking that there is a model existing, like similar to what they are looking to do or would be able to guide them. And I think that is one of the reasons why I started this. Like I said, I know there are similar shows, but the thing is about grassroots. It's about saying, hey, this can actually help someone sitting
Yeah.
out there wanting to do it and finally give them a push to do it, to know that it can be done. And so mentorship, if you want to talk a bit about that and let me know exactly what it is you think, like, how would you see it working in your end?
Well, Ayana, for me, when I came into my own practice, what I did is I tried to surround myself with persons who I have seen them do incredible things in their own lives and in their own businesses. And they
Mm,
weren't necessarily persons who were involved in law or in the legal profession, but they were
mm,
business owners and business persons in their own right. So,
yes.
what I did is that I started asking questions of these persons, and a lot of the things that I didn't know, they were able to fill in for me based on their own experiences. So
Mm-hmm,
I think it's important, especially if you want to get in business, that you align yourselves with persons who have done it before. And like I say, it's not necessary that you get someone who's in the exact business that you are in, but it should be
mm-hmm,
someone you trust in terms of if they give you advice about proper business decisions, that they're giving you
mm-hmm,
good and solid advice for your business. So I think,
mm-hmm,
again, this is one of the things I like about the program in terms of encouraging that sisterhood and encouraging that bond and encouraging having this sort of communication and open
mm-hmm.
dialogue among us so that if one of us has to do something, then we're able to ask among the group, well, how do you go about doing this? So I think that's
Yeah.
important.
Right. And just to toot my horn a bit, when you say the program, you're speaking about the Woman in Business by the Conflict Guru
I am
868.
talking about Ayanna's program in case anyone wasn't sure.
Just getting it out there, let's just make sure, clarification. Now, you mentioned something about your journey and stuff earlier before. And I mean, being working for the state and stuff, I think that is like a dream to get into working there. How did you venture from, what was your journey like venturing from state into your own practice?
It was it was a bit terrifying, but it was something that needed to be done. And the
You might
reason I
have
say
to make
something,
it clarifying.
yeah, the reason I say something that needed to be done, Ayana,
Mm-hmm.
I spent a lot of time creating for other persons, building other persons' dreams, developing whatever other persons wanted. And sometimes it left me feeling a little less than human. And I say that to mean we are humans, we are not
Mm-hmm.
machines. We are not designed to work from 5 in the morning to 10 in the night every day creating for someone else. And that
Yeah.
was what drove me into deciding to open my own business. Because I believe if I can pour so much into developing something for someone else, I can pour
Mm-hmm.
that same love and value into developing my own business and hopefully creating something not just for me but for generations to come. So
Yeah.
it's something that's what propelled me. That was one of the big
Wow.
things. In addition to that, um, looking at myself as a whole human and not just as an employee or worker. My health is
Mhm.
important. My happiness is important.
Yes.
Family
Yes.
is
Well,
important. And especially
yes.
for women, we need to balance a lot of things.
Oh
So
gosh, you're preaching. You're preaching.
while I understand how important it is to
Mhm.
in a particular career and you have something that's planned in terms of when you're going to be promoted, how you're going to be promoted, etc. I also
Mhm.
believe that there's something really special in creating a new path for yourself.
Yes. People are commenting and agreeing with you, Giselle, and I totally agree with you. I mean, so far, you have said three very profound things. The latest one being basically to pour into your own cup because we spend so much of time
Mhm.
helping other persons build their dreams and stuff like that. And some of the times we stay doing that because we fear if we do it for ourselves, it may fall or we may fall short. But there are
Yeah,
times when we need to understand we can pour into our own cup. But in doing so, we need to also be cognizant of the fact that we need to care for ourselves as well.
yeah,
We need to make sure that we are okay. Because if we are not okay, what's going to happen to our business?
yeah,
Right? And when you talk about surrounding yourself with like-minded persons, I totally agree with you because we cannot surround ourselves with persons who are not on the same page with us, persons who are not aligned with us on our dream, and expect ourselves to prosper. Because if it is we align ourselves with the wrong person, we can simply sink our ship. Simple by verbalizing to the things to the wrong persons who are not on the same page with us. And I cannot stress how important that is. And then thirdly, when you spoke about, like your well-being and stuff like that, going back to that, I mean, three profound things there, right? And you were worried about how this was going to be tonight. Come on, you were like a natural.
But Ayana, I wanted to say something in terms of surrounding yourselves with the right persons, right? One of the things I think it keeps people out of business is because they feel that they do not necessarily have the right support. And I
Support.
think
Yeah.
a lot of times, and even for me, when I came into my own practice, the people who I thought would be there to be my supporters, those were not the persons who were there. But the
Mhm.
is if you are fulfilling your purpose, God will put persons in place to support you, and God will put strangers in place to support you.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
have gotten support from professionals and colleagues that I didn't think I would get support from. I've gotten
Mhm.
clients that are strangers. So I know a lot
Mhm.
of times when we talk about having support, people think, well, I don't have the friends or the family or
Yes.
those persons in place. But once you make a move to open your own business, people will fall into place and new
To
people will
place.
come into your life that will actually support your business. So we're not asking you to come with a fully baked pie. We're just asking you to show up with the ingredients that you have and it will get done.
We'll make it work. And like someone told me a while back, your tribe will find you. Because it
Yep.
was a point in time, similar to what you were saying, it was when I decided to step out on my own and do this on my own. Because there was a time when I was fearful. I mean, even though I've been doing business for like 14 years, there was a point where I was still fearful.
Yeah.
And I thought I needed to have certain persons doing this with me for it to be done. And only getting into it, I realized it was such a big mistake. I made it to the point where there was a time I have some friends with my boss on a trip abroad, and I was in tears because it's like I made a mistake. Even though it was somebody I loved and was like I considered, it was a mistake. And when I finally took that chance and I took back what was rightfully mine to do it by myself, right? Because I know what my vision was and I know where it was going. My vision was and aligned with where it was going.
Yeah.
Everyone basically fell away. And I felt alone. And I remember I was speaking to this person and I was telling her about it, whatever. And she said, your tribe will find you. And when she said it, I wrote it down in my book because I'm always making notes. You see me writing on the side here. And I wrote that down on the cover of my book. My tribe will find me. And you're right, it's strangers. It's person you come into contact with doing business. It's people who you would never think they are there and they are giving you that support. And like you said, they're bringing the ingredients. They don't need to bring the whole pie, you know.
No,
We,
they
we will get
don't.
the pie
Yeah,
done.
no, they don't. Because
They don't.
I honestly believe, Ayana, that my clients and your customers and persons who go into business, their customers. What you are really at the end of the day is meeting the customer's needs and you are addressing the customer's problems. And once you are doing that and you are creating value for them, they will come. Granted
Yes.
that you give them proper service. And that's another
Yes.
thing I wanted to just stick a minor pin here
You know
because
what? You take over.
no, I just wanted to stick a pin, right, for one moment. I
Take
don't
your
know.
pen. Take your pen.
Because
Take your pen,
think
sister.
about it, we talk about mentorship, we talk about creating a sister circle and supporting one another and
Mhm.
all those things.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to recommend someone in terms of their service, then you have to be
Yeah.
providing persons with good service, right?
Yes.
So
You
you
are.
have to be focusing on what you are selling, the value that you are creating, and actually doing it to the best of your ability. So I feel comfortable to recommend you, and that helps grow your business. So I just wanted to stick that pin there. We're not talking about giving people bad service and having some kind of sisterhood where we just pushing bad service. We're not speaking
And
about that.
yeah. No. No. You're right. You're right. And I can attest, guys, Giselle's service, top line. Right?
Yes.
I personally
Where's
have called to
Ayanna's?
you myself. No, yeah. And the funny thing is, Giselle knows when you initially knew we met, you knew me through my other side, my other business, not the conflict group, which I started due to COVID. My business that because of COVID I had to close down for a period of time. And so you know me as with that service end and stuff. And I mean, when I first came in the building, I think you were before, of course, you were there before us, right? Samantha, who was with us a few weeks ago. And you were there, and I was like, okay, she's the one in charge because he's the one here, whatever. So we have to ask for the key, whatever, whatever. But I saw where you were coming from, and I saw that you were a very level-headed person. You're a very down-to-earth person, and that gained my respect, right?
Thanks.
So even though you're an accomplished lawyer, you had a little firm and like guys, a gorgeous office, well put away, right? You were very, very, very humble. No, it's true. It's true. So I really respected that. But what I want to find out from you, as a female in the profession of law, how has it been? And I ask this because however, years ago, decades ago, when I wanted to attend university, I wanted to study law. That was my thing. But because of my family and stuff like that, I thought business would have been the best option. And then I started and I did business, and I was like, thank God I did not do law because I would not have thought. Because after a while, I get kind of. I mean, I love to read. I am an avid reader, but I like my books. I like and stuff like that. So how has it been? How has the profession treated you as a female and a woman in business?
I honestly, Ayanna, and again, I'll always say this: the profession has treated me well. And one of the things about the legal profession in particular is that so as long as you are willing to put in the work and do the preparation and put in the
Mm-hmm.
hours and build yourself and understand what you need to understand, then
Mm-hmm.
you will succeed in doing law. So it's not as skewed as I know some of the other professions are in terms of being male dominated or female dominated. What I see is
Mm-hmm.
that depending on how you present yourself and if, like I said, if you're willing to put in the hard work and be
Mm-hmm.
prepared, people will treat you based on what you bring to the table. So
Right.
it's been a good experience for me. I don't know if other persons have had different experiences, but for me, I always believe that when I show up with the best version of myself. So I do my work, right? I do my work, I prepare, and I come ready to make my arguments and let my voice be heard. And
Okay.
but again, I am saying this, and I know one of the concerns you have, and this is something that crossed my mind looking at the papers today as well. There are some professions and there are some businesses where women don't necessarily feel that there's space for them, and
Mm-hmm.
there's also some women who are still in situations which are vulnerable. And I think COVID-19 has brought out that to a different
Yeah.
extent in terms of domestic violence, women wanting to
Yeah.
get out of relationships, etc. And there They're trying to figure out what is a way that I can earn income. And I think for those women, there's two things. You need to find your voice and you need to find your space. You also need to find your product that you can create value so that you can come into your own business. But in the meanwhile, again, going back to mentorship and sisterhood and all of those things, there are other people who are willing to stand in the gap for you while you try to
Wow.
make it in business, which is what I
Yeah.
think this whole program is about. So, like I said, it's been a really good experience for me. I think I honestly, I think I found my passion, but again, that's because I think it's aligned with my personality. So I always tell people when you're going into business, figure out what's your why. Why are you doing this? Does it really align with your purpose? Because if you could figure that out, then it makes it easier for you.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Samantha is also agreeing with us. She's saying, totally agree with you, Giselle. Show up with the version of it always. And I mean, oh my gosh. Joanne Williams is saying, I understand your spoken words. Latoya is saying she's so proud of you. I am
Oh,
amazed. You were concerned. You are excellent. Seriously. So, and I totally agree with you. Show up with your best version of yourself. I mean, there are times we may not feel it, we may have times we may not want to do it, but we are in it for a reason and we need to maintain and keep those objectives at the forefront of our minds. And we need to do that. We need to show up with the best versions of ourselves because that is how we build our business, right? We
yeah,
are, we are the business. And again, if it is we do not show up, who is going to show up for us? Where is our reputation going to be built from? Where it's going to come from? And I totally
yeah.
agree with you. Um, and you said that it is pretty even as regards to the gender ratios is your profession. There were females who basically charted the course for lawyers, female lawyers in the past. Is it a case of that?
Yeah, and two things I would say here, right? One is that I have had the benefit of going to what you consider one of the prestigious girls' schools in the country, which is Bishop Anstey High School. And
Okay.
one of the things we learned there is not just the value of hard work, but also the value of picking up space, right? And it's not about being entitled, but it's about knowing your worth. So that's the first thing I would say there. And the second thing is in the legal profession in particular, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
women have been blazing trails all over. So again, that's why I say I have seen it done. For example, Her Excellency Madam Paula May Weeks. She is a
Mm-hmm.
former appellate judge. So we've seen it and we continue to see it on a daily basis in this profession that women are blazing trails. But
Lovely.
not everyone has had that benefit, though, Ayanna. There's some people, they have
True.
only seen brokenness, they've only seen lack, they've only seen poverty. And those are the
Mm-hmm.
people, to me, that we need to really capture
Reach
and
out.
let them know that we are the ones blazing the trail for you all, right?
Yeah.
So the opportunity is there. And that's the other thing, though. I think so many times we focus on what we don't have that we don't see the opportunities. And one of the things I've been challenging myself to do is look at COVID-19 as an opportunity. When I say
Yes.
opportunity, in terms of the way that we do things, in terms of the needs that are popping up on the market that maybe
Yeah.
we could think about fulfilling. So
Yes.
we
So
need to start looking for opportunities as well.
mhm. Yeah. You're right. You're right. You're so right. And I mean, I guess viewers have the conflict grew of me having to close down my main business,
Yeah,
my larger entity, right? That's
yeah,
what the company grew out of it. And ironically, out of COVID, I've launched two entities. The
yeah,
company grew and another entity, a boutique design thing when I'm doing like interior design and stuff like that. And I've done it. I'm doing it. So there are opportunities out there. There are options for us out there. We
yeah.
as women do not need to give up. Even if it is not, you're not seeing it right now. Guys, if you're listening, give me a call. If you want, give Giselle a call because I think she can do my
Yeah,
marketing.
that's
Please, give her a call. It's not a problem because there are I think any of the guests I've had on this show thus far, we are willing to help in mass. We are willing to help to
no,
give you
yeah.
that push. to help you find your passion, to help you figure it out, to get it done.
Yeah, we are. We
Right?
definitely are.
Building and getting things done and helping you achieve that goal and that dream.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to have a dream and really want to push for it. I mean, like I said, it's 14 years ago I started my businesses, and it took me 14 years to believe in myself. And COVID-19 helped me do that. So if it can help me, come on, I know you all can more than do it out there.
Yeah.
So talking about challenges and issues and stuff like that, is there, as regards to COVID, has it actually produced a challenge or caused a challenge for you business-wise?
It's been both a challenge and created opportunities. And when I say both challenging and created opportunities, for example, it when it comes to the legal practice, many things are happening differently. So the nature of work has changed a bit. The
Mm-hmm.
structure of work has changed a bit. So it puts an extra burden on you as a professional to make sure that you're up to date, make sure that you're understanding what is going on, make sure that you're keeping your clients in the loop. So it puts an additional burden. But it also created the space for example, in my case, I started looking for different options to reduce expenses. And that may have been I mean, that's something I probably should have done before, but there was nothing forcing me to look at it in that way. But with
Yeah.
COVID-19, I was forced to do it. And in the end, it came out being a better result than what I had before. So,
Yeah.
in that regard, I think it's been both a challenge and an opportunity. But I know,
Mhm.
especially for, I mean, I don't have this particular issue, but I know it has also created additional layers of challenge for persons who are moms because they also have to school children at home, they have to balance
Yeah.
their home and
Yes.
growing a business or opening a business.
Yes.
Sometimes you also have to now deal with other family members who are out of jobs, etc.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely been real challenges and serious challenges. And I think
Mhm.
one of the challenges for us, and definitely one of the challenges for me, it's maintaining my health in a period where you're really not sure how things will go, right?
True.
So it's besides COVID-19, it's also about managing stress and dealing with my health in
Oh,
that regard because
yes.
I'm so focused on trying to make sure that my business succeeds that sometimes my health is on the decline and I'm not paying much attention to it because
Good.
I don't want to fail in business. So
Right.
it's been a balancing act with COVID. But like I said, there are a lot of opportunities and we just need to keep our eyes open and look at it from that perspective as well.
Yes, you're very right. You're very right. And what you basically did when you were talking about your course and stuff is that you basically took your fixed costs and turned them into variable costs,
Yeah.
and therefore helped you reduce your expenses in your company. And that is something that a lot of us need to do as business owners with COVID. We need to move away from having those fixed costs and turn them into variable costs. So it's not something that we have to look to every month, so per se. And that is why, I moved from where we had our offices because that was a fixed cost for me. I had to move it, right? And I had to make changes, move home and stuff like that. So I totally agree with that. That is a very good point. It's actually something I touched on in my talk on for NEXC on Friday. Another thing and is I love what you said when you talk about stress and how you manage your life. COVID has brought a lot of stress with it. We have to deal with our families. We have to deal with all the changes. We have to deal with, like you said, moms, our kids, right? Our kids are, as well are being stressed by it because they are not allowed to see their friends, to go outside as they usually would, to go places. They're basically stuck home. And kids are processing this in a way that cognizant of that as well as parents. We're stressing ourselves and then our partners and then our families. So when you touch on so much, it's like a wealth of knowledge just spewing tonight, Giselle, and I'm enjoying it, totally
No,
enjoying it.
but
Right?
Ayana, for us, we have to also remember that we do a lot of the unseen work, and it's not that we have inconsiderate partners or spouses. It's just that
Yeah,
that's traditionally what we've been taught to do. We've been taught to carry the burden for everyone else and to
everyone.
make it look like it's not affecting us. But the truth be told, it affects us, and we also need to make sure that we have something to give to other persons. And if we don't take care of ourselves in that situation, we're not going to have anything to give anybody else.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think you know of my situation where it reached a point for me where I had to just say that was it for me for 2 weeks when I ended up in the hospital because it was just too much. And I just had to say, okay, that is it. Mommy needs her time. Ayanna needs her time. I need to just call it quits for a bit and recuperate. I mean, we all go through things like that. And again, if it is we are not filling our cup up for ourselves, what are we going to give?
Yeah.
And I also remember a story I read some time ago. I think somebody was relating a situation where this lady, she did everything for her family, every single thing. And they were wondering, and she took ill, suddenly passed away. And the person was wondering, what was her husband going to do now that she's no longer there because she did everything for him, for the kids, stuff like that. And when she made contact with the husband, he was good. He was playing golf. The kids were doing well. He hired someone to take care of the kids. So we gotta take care of ourselves. We sometimes gotta be a bit selfish and put ourselves first a bit and take care of ourselves. I want to ask you what advice you have to give for other female entrepreneurs, but I should actually say, what additional advice you have to give?
I know.
Entrepreneurs out there.
One of the things that I wanted to just pay a little attention to is I know persons, they want to come into business, but they're not sure exactly how and they're not exactly sure what they are required to do. So from a legal perspective, if it is you are going into business and your business is making $1, there are certain things that you need to do. The first is that you need to register your business, right? So there's a whole business registration process. A lot of it is online. So persons can follow up. They can look at the Ministry of Legal Affairs website and they will get a lot of information in terms of the registration of business. The other thing is that if your business is making money, that money shouldn't be going into your personal bank account. That money should be going into a separate business account. So it's important that once you register your business, then the next stop is really your bank, right? And you can shop around in terms of banks to see what is the best bank for you as a small business or based on the particular sector. But you really should have a business bank account and all the things that come with that. That allows you to account for what your business is making, and it also allows you to account to the government for what you should be paying to the government. And yes, as a business owner, you should be paying taxes. So another stop is Board of Inland Revenue. And when I have a conversation on the way that taxes work, there are persons who deal specifically with this area. So you could always get on to one of those persons. You could ask Ayanna, you could call me and ask me. I'm sure there are various persons who will be able to walk you through some of the things. But in terms of the legislation, you need to understand that there are laws that govern businesses and there are laws that you adhere to. So I think it's important to understand if you're coming into business that you do these things. And the reason you're doing it is not for the government's benefit, it's for your benefit. It's for your benefit because it allows you then to access funding, it allows you to access grants, it allows you to sometimes apply for certain exemptions, etc., because you have your business in order. So if you know you're coming into business, make sure that you do these things. I think to me that was one of the major things that I wanted to tell people. Focus on what are the laws that govern your sector, your when you come into business.
So because look at what's going on right now with the small business loan the government is granting small business owners. Basically, if you do not have your stuff in order, you cannot access the loan.
No, you can't.
Be an amount per annum and not have VAT registered.
Yeah.
You can't have a business and not have a registered entity. You can't access it with that. So you have to have your stuff in order. You have to be paying your taxes, you have to be doing all the right things. And that is something that is very important. And I think I will need to talk to you offline about that. Maybe we can do a session,
Yeah, no, that's right. We really need to know that.
We can talk doing a session with that. Guys, let me know what you think if you'll be interested in just online doing a session and the necessities of the qualities as small business important for small business owners, right? It's not just you get $1, you put it in your pocket. No,
No.
you get $1. Pay yourself first. After you've paid yourself, what you do what you need for your business. And that is really important, things that you need to note. Kadeen said, hey, Giselle, Giselle, you are a tonight, girl. And you were worried. Okay, and then for next week's webinar. So we're gonna talk more about that, and so I think
Just,
you've done your goal.
one more thing, Ayanna. So that was one of the regulations, but the other thing is, I think people need to get some education around finances, and
Yes.
to do that as a business owner. And the reason
Mhm.
that COVID presents a lot of opportunities. A lot of credit unions and banks, etc., they're doing these courses. They're sending out links if you want to join a
Yeah.
webinar. So you're learning a lot of things that ordinarily you might have to pay somebody to
It's
do
free.
these things or go and do a course. And a lot of these things are now free. So try to get some financial education if you decide to own your own business. I
Yeah.
mean, in terms of how to structure your debt, how to keep your books and those things, that is
Yes.
extremely important. So that was the
And
other
like
thing
you
I
said
wanted
before, like look at times now, how to move and pivot with the times. You
to
need to know that from a financial perspective as well. What do I need to do? How am I coping? How do I just income in regards to my revenue? Things like that. So you're right. And I would take that as your golden nugget of information
see.
because we
Yes,
usually
please.
close with golden nuggets.
Yes, please.
I mean, to be honest, Giselle's interview tonight was just full of golden nuggets, right? So
Thanks.
we have, it's true, it's true. Come on, I keep it real. Be cognizant of the finances, get some sort of financial education that is
Yeah,
going to help you, right? Know who you are, know what your objectives are, know your limits. Know when you're coming towards that wall to say stop, to guard
yeah,
yourself. Surround yourself with like-minded persons, surround yourself with persons who can help you build. And remember, those persons are going to come, like just I said, and I just love this. You don't need to bring the whole pie, right? You can bring some of the ingredients. The pie will get made. Right? And then you go into, like she said, space. And I like that. And I mean, in picking up and understanding that, you know how not only to manage yourself, understand your worth, you understand what is self-worth, and you can go forward with that. That will help propel you into your being, into to whatever your purpose is, into whatever that you want to achieve. Because once you work with that, you will be fine.
yeah,
You'll be fine. And most importantly, guys, faith. We cannot speak about how profound having faith is and believing that,
yeah,
I mean, speaking it into being, believing in self, holding on to the Almighty, how important that is. So, Giselle, I thoroughly enjoyed this interview
thanks for
tonight.
having me,
I
Ayanna.
promise you were concerned and you were worried. Guys, she was concerned. I don't know how I want to do this. And I was like, Giselle, just smile and laugh and just talk because she's such an intelligent person, such a amazing brain, a mind, right? And I'm saying COVID made business education a lot easier, to be honest. It really changed the dynamics. Our information is shared. It's true. It
Yeah,
has COVID opportunities for us to learn, right? And the amount of short courses and webinars I have sat into it's
yeah,
please do it a good job. Free. So anytime you get the opportunity, take it. And some of them actually you may not be able to do it at the time, but some of them stream it live. You can go back
yeah,
onto the links, if it's Facebook especially, and get the information. The talk I did for NESC on Friday, stepping into the next normal, how entrepreneurs can pivot for the next normal. You can still go on to NESC site and see the link there because it was streamed live and it was free, right? So keep your eyes open. Take advantage of it. It's about growth. It's about self growth. It's about development. You cannot get enough of it. Go for it. Giselle, thank you so much for joining us
No
tonight.
problem. Thanks for having me.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Next week we'll be back our regular day and time, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Look out for the information and the postings on that. I'm actually going to speak to Giselle about doing a webinar. I think it's going to be really enjoyable, the legal aspects and the legal entities and what you need in starting your small business. That may be one of my first webinars. I'm actually thinking to nag Mr. Mansell about some finances because that is his background. So look out for some information on that. Um, so keep safe, everyone. Any information, feel free to contact Giselle or myself. Giselle information is on the bottom of the screen there. To reach Giselle by phone, 468-8219, or you can email her at glbirmingham@gmail.com. If you need the information, I can always send it to you. You can always reach out to me. Send me a message, the Conflict Guru 868 on Facebook or Instagram. It was a pleasure. Giselle, we did 41 minutes. So easy time. How fast time flies. It was a pleasure, Giselle. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Good night.
Very much.
Stay blessed
Bye.
and safe. Bye.